Alright, another boatload of new fragrance releases are soon to drop. Are you curious to learn about these fragrances? Then stick around and I'll let you know all about them. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. How are you guys doing today? Are you excited for new fragrances? There's a ton of new stuff coming out. A lot of stuff that I found out about. Some I actually reported on last couple of videos like this with not a lot of details that I'm going to touch up on again here. And there's also some new releases that I've heard about that there's not a lot of info out about them as well. But lots of exciting new fragrances. And in the bonus section, I've got a group of fragrances from two houses, and I left those off as bonus options because they have a collection of fragrances, and I think I'm going to air those on the channel separately as well. But let's go ahead and get started with the first one. We've got Mancera's Red Tobacco Intense. Are you guys excited for this one? How much more intense can they make red tobacco? Isn't it already pretty potent? What are you guys thinking about this? Have you heard anything about this? Have you gotten your nose on it? Do let me know. This comes after a couple of years after the Cedrat Boisé Intense. Cedrat Boisé Intense did come out in 2001, right? Not last year. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm excited for this. We'll see how it is. I'm always looking for more intense fragrances. And even though Mancera Red Tobacco is quite intense, I definitely want to get my nose on it. But moving on to Guerlain. I've got a lot of Guerlain themed fragrances that I'm going to talk to you about here. A group of two first, and then later on several more. But the first one I'm going to let you know about is a fragrance I just heard about. No information on it out there. It's called FEVE TABOU. So this will go into the Art et la Matiere collection fragrances. And they already have a Tonka bean themed fragrance in that collection called Tonka Imperial. So I'm not sure what this fragrance is all about, why they're releasing another Tonka themed fragrance. We shall see. Is it going to smell like Dior's Fève Delicious? Who knows? But always curious to hear and learn about FEVE themed fragrances, focusing on the Tonka bean and things like that. If anybody has any info on FEVE TABOU, do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. But there is information about tobacco honey from Guerlain from the same collection, L'Art et la Matiere. I've spoken to a few folks and they say that it's a little too sweet. And also some comments came in. I haven't got my nose on it. Hope to get a bottle before I leave to Europe so I can report on it to you guys. But it's tobacco, Acord, Sesame. There's that Sesame again. It's making a big comeback, or big, I should say, a statement as of late, because I'm seeing it pop up in a lot of different fragrances. Along with the tobacco and the Sesame, we've got honey, anise, cloves, sandalwood, oud, vanilla, tonka beans. I like the idea of tobacco and honey together. Kind of sounds like the Dior tobacco fragrance. But we shall see how sweet this is, and or if it's really a great fragrance. But curious, if anybody's got their nose on it, do put a comment down below so we can find out what it's all about. Matiere Premier has a fragrance called Vanilla Powder that's going to launch soon. So it's coconut powder with Palo Santo, vanilla absolute, and white musk. So I'm a fan of this house, although I need to dig into their fragrances a little more. I only have a few of them here, but they do great work. Perfumer behind the brand does really great work. I've met him. Actually, I have a video with him on the channel if you're curious to learn more about the brand. But who sampled this one? I don't think there's a lot of info on it out there. It's just some information has been reported. But moving on to Kilian's Smoking Hot. God, Kilian can't stop doing boozy fragrances. Is that all they're going to be known for? Boozy? This one seems like a tobacco and boozy fragrance with bourbon vanilla, Orcanox, tobacco absolute, Oakmoss, apples, cinnamon, Shisha tobacco. If anyone's gotten their nose on this one, please let me know. This one does sound exciting to me. It's created by Matthew Nardin. Is it going to go into the... No, I don't think it's going to go into the liqueur themed bottle. Bottles, yeah. It's going to go into the regular black bottles. I think I've seen a photo of it. But it's created by Matthew Nardin, who created the absinthe, the one in the glass-looking bottle from the liqueurs collection. Yeah, I'm interested in this one. Sounds like a great fragrance. Hopefully it will be. So AKRO is doing a lot of releases lately. So we had Bake earlier, then there was that Middle Eastern release, and now we've got another one called Rise. Don't know what this one's all about, but I can see that it's kind of a tropical gourmandish fragrance with tiare flower, pineapple, sandalwood, toffee, frangipani, pina colada, coconut milk. Sounds creamy and also tropical and also juicy, fruity, and floral as well. Sounds interesting. We shall see. Which addiction is this one, or are they done with addictions? We'll see. So we've got 2 fragrances from the house of DS and Durga. Deep Dark Vanilla, which is Vanilla Absolute, Cabreuva, Hay, Patchouli, Cypress Root, Vanilla Orchid Leaf, Vine, Orchid, Pink Pepper. I'm always interested in smelling vanilla fragrances, so we'll see how DS and Durga does vanilla. And then Crush Balls with blossoms, cotton, grass, and rosemary. So Crush Balls, to me, it seems like a tennis-themed fragrance. So are they using the tennis ball smell in this fragrance? It sounds like they are from the advertisement and marketing material I've seen. And it's interesting that I've seen 2 different fragrances now. I can't remember the other one, that are using tennis balls as a note in the fragrances. And the first brand that I've ever known to have done the tennis ball note was Imaginary Authors with I forgot the name of the fragrance, but they did a fragrance like over 10 years ago. So now it's people are doing the tennis ball thing. But if you're curious about these fragrances, let me know. Moving on to Le Labo. Le Labo's city exclusives are going to be out everywhere very soon on September 1st. It's usually everywhere on September 1 through the end. So if you like any city exclusives and you can't go to that city to buy it because it's exclusive for that city, in the month of September you can buy them at all Le Labo, carriers or sellers, I should say. So Le Labo Lavande 31 though is launching this autumn. It's amber with bergamot, lavender, musk, neroli, and tonka beans. Always curious about lavender as a note in fragrances. Is this one going to go into like a fougere direction or more on the lavender? We shall see. But I like Le Labo. I've recently sampled their myrrh, and I enjoyed it, but it was not really myrrh. It was more like floral myrrh. But I'll report on that very soon as well. But Lavande 31 sounds interesting. We shall get our noses on it soon. So we've got 3 Aqua Allegoria fragrances from the house of Guerlain. And these fragrances are fortes, but I'm not really familiar with these fragrances so far. I thought the fortes were forte versions of older fragrances, so these seem fairly like new fragrances to me. So it's Aqua Allegoria Forte Bosca Vanilla with vanilla, cypress, everlasting flower, bitter orange, driftwood, and eucalyptus. Always want to get my nose on vanilla fragrances. The next one is Aqua Allegoria Forte Oud Yuzu. I like the idea of oud and yuzu together. That sounds interesting, right? Cedar, yuzu, mandarin, lemon, amber, neroli, oud, and vetiver. Sounds like an interesting fragrance. Vetiver and yuzu, grapefruit, things like that are really great together. So I'm curious to get my nose on this one. Although I haven't really dug into the Fortes at all from Guerlain. If they're really great ones, do let me know. I know Mandarin Basilic is one of my favorite Aqua Allegoria fragrances, and they have a Forte version of it, but I sadly haven't really dug into that fragrance. But then the last one is Aqua Allegoria Forte Rosa Palisandro. So is that like rosewood? Is that the note? So it's rosewood, obviously. There's that note. Rose, coriander seeds, musk, patchouli, sandalwood, violet, cardamom, and bergamot. This one sounds the least exciting to me, but I'll get my nose on it. I don't think that rosewood or palisander is a favorite note of mine, although I do have a Comme des Garçons fragrance called Palisander in the red collection, so maybe I'll check this one out. If you've gotten your noses on these 3 fragrances, do let me know how they are. So I wasn't really going to talk about this one, but man, you guys are really into the idea of this fragrance and mentioned it in the past videos like this, so okay, I had to bring it up. So Creed has a new fragrance called Absolute Aventus. Where's the pineapple though? Pineapple note is not mentioned. So we've got grapefruit, blackcurrant, bergamot, ginger, citron, cardamom, cinnamon, patchouli, vetiver, and pink pepper. So it seems like it's going to go warmer. Adding cinnamon to Aventus makes it very, very warm here. I'm not sure about this. We shall see. This is the first release under the new Kering group since they got bought out for like $3 billion. I originally thought it was 1, and that's what was reported. Then I found out it's almost 3 billion. This is insane. We'll see. But there's also another fragrance called Carmina, which I have a sample of here. And I'm going to do a quick first impressions on camera. I haven't smelled it yet. And I was told it's a cherry fragrance. And looking up the notes, yes, it is. But it does have myrrh. There's myrrh again. It's very popular. Amber, May rose, peony, saffron, black cherry, pink pepper, frankincense, musk, violet, cashmere wood. Have you gotten your nose on Carmina yet? Let's go ahead and smell it. Who's a fan of Creed anymore? Their fragrances are really pricey now. And myrrh and sesame seems like it's really popular notes as of late. Very interesting, actually. This is not a bad fragrance. I would need to wear it, but off the top of smelling it off the strip here, I think it smells nice. Myrrh resin for sure. A bit bubbly, a bit fizzy. But there's a amber down there. Absolutely there is. Then rose and peony. It's kind of Delina-esque, but not quite. There's more substance here because of that myrrh. It's resins. Very, very interesting. This is not bad, actually. We'll have to dig into that. So that is Carmina. You should see the sample right there. So the next fragrance from Parfums de Marly, Altair. I'm going to let you guys know I've already sampled it, and I absolutely love it. It's a vanilla. Features notes of ambroxan, musk, praline, bourbon vanilla, bergamot, cinnamon, cardamom, orange blossom, gaiac wood, and elemi. This fragrance is going to be big. It smells great. Spicy vanilla. Created by Hamid Muradi Kashani. Is it his year? Lots of launches with this perfumer. And he's doing great work. And this Altair is really great. I can't say anything else about it. I can't even show a bottle. But I'm going to review it as soon as I can, so stay tuned. But all I can say is it smells great. It's back. Parfums de Marly's back with a really great release. Next, we've got a couple of releases from Molten Brown. It's just basically an eau de toilette and an eau de parfum of a new fragrance called Wild Mint and Lavendin. It features notes of corn mint, nutmeg, orris root, Provençal lavender, tonka beans. Whenever I see lavender and tonka beans, it means it's going to go into the fougere direction. We shall see. Always curious about Molten Brown. I do enjoy their fragrances. But moving on to Chanel. Chanel has a new flanker to Chance or Chance Eau Fraiche, and this is the EDP version. And it features notes of teakwood, jasmine, aldehydes, citron, and amber. I actually got to smell Chance, the original in eau de toilette. Oh, it's actually Chance Eau Fraiche. And I actually liked it. It was very fresh. I'm curious to smell this one. Otherwise, I would not be reporting on this one because these fragrances are not the best from Chanel. But I enjoyed what I smelled. So let me know your thoughts if you are a fan of Chanel's Chance series of fragrances, especially Eau Fraiche, and what your thoughts are on the new EDP. And then last but not least, we've got a fragrance from the house of Parfums de Nicolai. It's Iris Medici, or Medici's, I think. Iris Medici's Intense. So it seems like a powdery iris woody fragrance with sandalwood. There's leather, carrot seeds, iris, musk, vanilla, orange blossom, neroli, galbanum, and violet. So on top of myrrh and sesame, I'm seeing a lot of carrot seeds show up as well. It's becoming very popular. So these three notes are becoming really widely used in fragrances, and I thought this was going to be the year of pistachio. Haven't really seen much come in the way of pistachio, but definitely myrrh and sesame and carrot seeds seems to appear quite a bit, and it's in this Iris Medici as well. Who's a fan of Parfums de Nicolai? Let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. But that's pretty much it until we get to the bonus section, and I'm going to go ahead and air those separately as well because they're going to be group fragrances of different brands. But let me know your thoughts on these fragrances so far that I discussed with you today. What are your thoughts on them? Are you excited for them? And is there anything else that's coming out that you're excited about that I have not reported on? If you haven't been catching these videos, please search for them on the channel. I usually title it New Fragrances Launching Soon or something like that. And you'll watch some that have aired in the last couple of weeks and months. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Okay, Penhaligon's has a new collection of fragrances, 5 different fragrances called Potions and Remedies. Really, really great concept. Kind of the, retro in that back in the old days they had these kind of fragrances or cures and things like that. So I'm very, very curious about these 5 different fragrances, and those are A Balm of Calm, A Kiss of Bliss, Eau de Audacity, Liquid Love, and Vra Vra Vroom. Interesting names, right? This collection sounds fun. The bottles look great. I'm really, really curious to try them. Hopefully on my one-day layover in London here in September, early September, I can get my nose on these if they have already launched, because I'm really, really excited about this collection and I'm hoping they are great. So A Balm of Calm features notes of oakwood, sandalwood, vetiver, geranium, iris, rum absolute, cardamom, clary sage, and lavender. This one sounds interesting with the rum absolute. Do enjoy boozy notes. I'm hoping the rum absolute is pretty pronounced and not an afterthought or like a supporting player. I like boozy fragrances, and the idea and the name kind of, sound really, really great, and the notes kind of match the name as well. So this one sounds really, really great to me. But A Kiss of Bliss features notes of moss, musk, patchouli, heliotrope, jasmine, matcha, bergamot, clover, and rose. I'm not sure about this one. This one does seem it's leaning a bit on the feminine side, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I do enjoy mossy notes, I enjoy musk, I enjoy patchouli, and everything else sounds great too, but not as exciting as the first one. And even though the first one was more woody, spicy, and boozy sounding, it still sounded really, really great. So we shall see. Sometimes I might see something, it sounds really great when I'm reading it, but when I go smell it, it's kind of boring. And then something that sounds boring on paper turns out to be the one I really like. So I never know. So Eau de Audacity sounds interesting. I really like the name. It sounds very, very catchy. In fact, most of these sound really, really great. Ambergris, leather, vanilla, saffron, frankincense, rose absolute, black pepper, elemi leaf, and orange blossom. So I'm not 100% sure what this one is going to smell like. Ambergris can go animalic, but we shall see. I don't think Penhaligon's is going to be launching any animalic fragrances when they're in the game to sell. But I'm curious to smell this one. Not as exciting as the first fragrance still. Then Liquid Love. This is cashmeran, musk, sandalwood, chili, green hazelnut, rose altimage extract, ginger, pink pepper, and turmeric. I'm uncertain about this one. Another note that keeps coming up lately, not as much as sesame and myrrh and the carrots, is turmeric. So turmeric also being used in cocktails too, and so I'm curious to smell what they do with Liquid Love and the addition of turmeric in the notes. But again, if any of you have gotten your nose on these fragrances, do let me know. Put a comment down below. I'm not even sure they're really selling yet, but excited for this collection. And then finally, the 5th fragrance is Vra Vra Vroom. So this one sounds really, really great to me. Ambrofix, Georgie wood, leather, magnolia, osmanthus, rose, mandarin, apricot, bergamot, clary sage. So yeah, all these fragrances sound great, with the first one and the last one to me sounding the best. But as I said, if I smell these somewhere, they sound great on paper, but in person they're not as good, and vice versa. They don't sound as great on paper, but I'll smell it and I'll be like, oh my god, this is the best smell ever. But either way, I'm very, very curious to get my nose on these. I hope they're launched by the time I get to the UK, which will be somewhere in the early part of September. I want to get my nose on it and perhaps buy one of them if it's actually turned out to be great. I hope the prices are okay, not too expensive, but I feel like this is somewhere going to be kind of close to the Portraits collection of fragrances from Penhaligon's. But if anybody has any info on this collection of potions and remedies from Penhaligon's, do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. As I said, I'm really, really curious for this collection, and there's no place to go and sample Penhaligon's fragrances here in person. Penhaligon's closed this store down back in 2018, I believe. It didn't last. Nobody was going in there, so they had to close it. Obviously, they closed all the stores in the USA except probably one in New York City. But either way, very, very curious about this collection. And then finally, there's another collection of fragrances from the house of Masque Milano, and it's called the Ruby collection. It's flankers of 4 fragrances from Masque Milano in this beautiful red bottles. Let me show you the fragrances here. I've got 3 of the 4 that are the original versions of the new flankers. But this is Tango right here. And then we have Russian Tea, this one right here. And then we have Love Kills. In addition to these three, there's also Mandala. So they basically have added oud to the fragrances. So they've got Tango oud, Mandala oud, Love Kills oud, and Russian Tea oud. Let's go ahead and quickly smell Love Kills. Love Kills is a rose fragrance from what I remember. So rose and oud. Have you ever smelled a fragrance that features rose and oud? It's a combo that's been around for a long time. This rose is a bit aquatic marine to me, but really great. Kind of salty actually, but a really beautiful jammy rose. Love Kills is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Really wonderful. So the name of the perfumer is right there, written right there. So this is Caroline Demure. And then we've got Tango. Tango and oud, I mean, Tango is an amber, so the oud with the amber sounds really interesting. But I feel like out of all of it, all of the three that I haven't smelled Mandala. I have, but I can't remember it. I think out of the three, the one that really suits the oud might be the one with the rose, but it's such a cliche kind of combo now. So maybe Tango would be good. Tango is created by Cecile Zarokian. It's an amber. It's a really great smelling amber though. Really kind of balsamic and spicy and very resinous as well. Really great fragrance, spicy too, really like warm spices. So I think maybe the oud might be perfect with the Tango. I don't know, we shall see. And then finally, Russian Tea. This is it right here. Russian Tea is created by Julien Rascanet. And so this fragrance, I'm not sure if the oud would suit this. This is a very smoky tea. It's a very dark, slightly sweet and bitter tea fragrance. So I don't know if the oud would go in there. I'm just not sure. Hopefully the combos will be great. But man, Russian Tea smells great. It's a really great tea fragrance. Those three fragrances that I'm talking about here are really, really great from Masque Milano. Mandala, I don't know much about, so we shall see how that is. But what do you guys think about the oud in these fragrances? These beautiful bottles also, red bottles. The Ruby collection is what they're calling it. Either way, I hope to report on these very soon. I'm sure I'll see the brand at the shows I'll be going to during my travels. But definitely interested in getting my nose on this new Ruby collection from Masque Milano. But if you've gotten your nose on the Ruby collection, do let me know. Put a comment down below. And what are your thoughts? Are you a fan of Masque Milano? And what do you guys think about the oud collection or the Ruby collection featuring oud in the fragrances? Tango, Mandala, Love Kills, and Russian Tea. Let me know. Put a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good one. Bye.